What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome back. This is lesson number 2. The golden ratio left you a voicemail. We'll dive into that in a second, but I'm going to read the lesson to you straight from the course. So, I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning it has for me. I'll read it to you again. I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me. We started with this neutral ground yesterday, right? And now we're taking a look at the fact that everything around us has meaning that we've given to it exclusively. We've bought into the meaning of it, right? So who's making the meaning? Well, we're participating in it in some fashion. This is really a beautiful encapsulation of the phrase observe, don't absorb, right? So today, we don't have to apply this. Don't make this exercise a day-long activity. Just spend the next couple of minutes looking around as we go through this here. Nothing, we've given everything we see all the meaning that it has. Everything we see. I'm looking at a light switch right there that you can't see. I've given that meaning. It is light switch based on my participation in the meaning that it has been given. And so everything around me, this lesson is so important because it brings us to this point. Everything around me is a projection of my mind and the beliefs that it carries. Everything around me is a projection. And so we'll use language that I love, but everything around me is a projection of my templating, my beliefs, the beliefs that I've inherited, the beliefs that I've created for myself. Everything around me is a projection of mental activity. So I smile because it's just it's so good. It's so, like, the buildup is so good. Every time I do these workbook, every time I work through this workbook, on a yearly basis, it really hammers home points that, you forget about, that you're reminded of, and it's just the way that we make meaning, right? Everything that we've created is a projection. When you think about where things come from, when we think about time as stretching forwards and backwards, and we think about things like, a big bang, if that were to have happened, science shows that it did. What I'm thinking of is in terms of more recently, but no. And I'm also thinking about multiverses when I say that. But the Big Bang, let's say, what existed before, what existed afterwards, all that we know in this world is things that we've created based on our projections about it. So what happens when we start to create new and more? Right? This idea of upending templates is really important to this, and specific to creativity. That we are the ancestors of creators and artists who took their own projections and made beautiful works of art. We walk through galleries every day. We walk through galleries of creations every day. Buildings, sidewalks, roads. My car, I drive my car, that too is a projection. Right down to the inception of cars, where the parts were brought together in specific ways, right? So this would-be coming together is actually a split. So it's actually a split because this would-be coming together and convergence of ideas that feels like connecting. It feels like relationship, but it's actually missing the component of communion that comes from this oneness with spirit, right? And oneness with spirit is all knowledge and no knowledge, and all meaning and no meaning. So that is really the sweet spot that we can get into with it. And it's, when we think about the meaning that we make of things, we collectively agree, but it does not mean that we come together. Energetically speaking, we're still separate. And there is no real separation. And that's the beauty of these teachings with A Course in Miracles. And for me, the golden ratio represented is sort of this concept of unity. The golden ratio is it's percentages. It's the Fibonacci numbers, which are 0.618 and 0.382. Some people have said that they can be, representative of how much the percentage of things to create balance in your life. So 61.8% is the amount of time that you should be spending on the present moment. Then you can say 38.2 is the amount of time that you should spend on the past and future. So people have used these numbers to divide things. In this Fibonacci sequence is present in nature. It's present in architecture. As an urban planner, with my education in urban planning and environmental sciences and studies, I know this. You can see it in different city maps and things like that. It's present everywhere, in flowers, things that we don't make, right? And the golden ratio is funny to me. It's almost like a bit of a punchline, because we see these patterns of unity in nature, and we've even made meaning of that. But this is to say that there's a unity in and around us that we are constantly in search of. We are constantly searching for a return to, and Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love, captures that perfectly. But this sort of this golden ratio leaves us voicemails, and it's a reminder every day when we are gardening. When I think about, I love gardening. It's so good. Hands in dirt. Oh, just everything. When I'm planting seeds, you see ferns, right? And fiddleheads too. Fiddleheads have those little curl to them, and then they unfurl. And that curl is the perfect Fibonacci sequence. Snail shells, seashells, the way that certain spaces are constructed naturally and run down by the elements, they all fit with this sequence. It's unity, right? So I think that for us, the golden ratio leaving us a voicemail is this beautiful creative reminder. It's a reminder that there is this oneness that defies our definitions, that defies all of the templates that we use to create around it, right? And this oneness and unity exists in nature so profoundly that there is a mathematical formula that can apply to it. So with that being said, observe, don't absorb. I'll read you the lesson again. So lesson 2. And don't make too much work of this. This is just stuff to think about. You don't have to do it all day. Just right now, in this moment that I'm sharing with you and enjoying so very much, this is sufficient, right? We don't need to make hard work out of this. We're just thinking some things, right? I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning it has for me. That's lesson 2. The golden ratio left you a voicemail. We're going to answer more of that voicemail tomorrow. In the meantime, my creative collective, have a wonderful day, and welcome once again to A Course in Creativity. Take care.